Hi guys, hope you're well. Welcome to DOdaily, Monday Motivation. It's Des here. Who's ready to give another week a go? On a day like today with the sun out, how can we not? Really looking to be positive again this week. I've mentioned over the last couple of weeks, it's been a little indifferent, up and down. There's lots of negativity out there, unfortunately, in the news and division, but what we can do through the DOdaily community, through running activities, is try and create that bit of positivity in our own world, and give it a real push to try and get through the situation. This week kind of marks, it is a year since we went into lockdown, at the end of the week. And I've been reflecting sort of over the weekend on some of the things I've done, why I think some of the activities, some of the things I've said through DOdaily have been particularly important. So what I'm going to do for Monday Motivation today is give you the 5 things I've learned during lockdown, the 5 things I'm hopefully going to use, remember, take forward, to create a better environment for me and those around me. Of course, on a Monday, I always like to run down the activity, so I'll come back to the Monday Motivation later. But tomorrow we've got Tuesday training, the solidarity session. Of course, a chance for everyone to come together to take part in activity at the same time. As the days are getting warmer, as the nights are drawing out, the perfect chance, whatever activity you choose, to do it knowing other people are doing something similar, or at least what they love, and getting out there and being part of a team. Whilst I always say never miss a Monday, get out for a walk on a day like today, especially with the blue skies, reaping all those rewards and the vitamin C, On a Tuesday, it's about coming together for the first time in the week as a team, remembering we can still be part of something despite those restrictions placed upon us. And it's great to see people posting their pictures, show us what they're doing. The beauty of it is you can do it wherever you are, sort of in the world, and gradually, slowly, people are getting sort of in touch from further afield. Guy at the weekend, I believe he's from London, wanted to be part of the community, taking part in the Wednesday workout challenge, and of course that comes after the Wednesday workout challenge, after Tuesday, another chance to be involved in what we do as a collective, rather than sort of fending for ourselves as we're having to do much of the time right now. Trying to keep that spirit going from the Do Running Trent Bridge group, which is based just over my shoulder. I look to create a challenge, look to invite people to take part in different activities, challenges that usually involve different activities, so it's generally really inclusive to a lot of different abilities, paces, whether people have been involved before or not. Like I say, the guy there getting involved from London, it was really pleasing to see that, and that's what it's all about. It's just using this time to come together the best we can. Use what we love to be really, really positive. The Wednesday workout challenge at the moment is doing steps every day, 10,000 steps a day during Lent. At the moment, the guys have done 8.5 million throughout the 26 days. It's 2 weeks of that left, so really looking forward to seeing that through. Really looking forward to another big effort on Wednesday. Again, it's about showing people what you're doing, trying to motivate and inspire. Be motivated, be inspired yourself, but also trying to help others as well when they might not be quite feeling it. On Thursday, we've got Thursday Thoughts. Always say that's one of my favourites. I'm live at 6 p.m. answering your questions, any concerns, any sort of ideas how you can get motivated, information about different activities, injuries, coronavirus, whatever's in the news, whilst I try and keep out of that a little bit, whilst I try and keep that away from DOdaily and out of my own life at times. I think it's really important just to touch base, touch in, and if anybody's got any questions, if I can help in any way, shape or form, it's nothing too technical, nothing too scientific, just my thoughts, opinions and very basic knowledge of these things. But it's a great way to get involved. I'm always looking for questions, so if you've got anything, please post them on any of the comments, on any video, on any social media post, and I'll answer absolutely anything. I always try to be honest and relatable. That's the whole point of DOdaily, so Thursday, that's definitely the case. That's definitely where it sort of comes into its own, and you get a true sort of feeling of what I'm thinking and where I am. Not that I try not to the rest of the time. On Friday, I'll be wake up to walk. I'm working on a bit of an idea to offer something a bit different with that. Really looking forward to set myself a bit of a challenge, but by doing that, sort of including it in the video, showing you what I'm up to. Again, hoping to inspire and motivate you to attack the day, use the most of the early mornings, particularly again as it's getting lighter. It's great to get out there. It's a great way of getting a bit of time you wouldn't usually have, clearing your mind of all these unnecessary thoughts that build up over the week that get on top of us, and it's absolutely fantastic. I absolutely love a Friday morning. Last week I was out and about again in a different location. Check out the video, something a bit different again, but a few random facts, a few thoughts on my week, a few thoughts on how I'm going to attack the weekend, and sort of bringing in everything we've said throughout the week. So it's a great way to round things off, but like I say, also prepare yourself for the day and the weekend ahead. Before I get stuck into those 5 things I think I've learned the most during lockdown, I just want to say I had a pretty good weekend. Really enjoyed taking the pace off a little bit. Whilst I did a couple of real good activity sessions, got out for some early morning runs, worked with 1 or 2 guys who were working with me to try and achieve some good results at the start of the year. There were tough sessions, but after that took plenty of rest, took the pace off, watched lots of football, watched lots of sport, what I do at the weekend, and it really did the trick. I've mentioned already today, I've mentioned last week, that just feeling everything that's going on around me a little bit whilst I'm working on the things that I know make me feel better at times, getting consumed in everything that's happening on the television, on the news, it's really difficult. And whilst I feel quite strongly about 1 or 2 subjects, and I am looking to do more, I just needed to take those couple of days out, just to sort of get away from it, and it really does do the trick. I speak about it more because it's kind of one of my points, but yeah, just by switching off a little, taking that break, from all the harsh realities around me, it was so important. It's put me in this position to give it a real good go again. All of a sudden I feel I've got a little bit, my mind's a bit clearer, it's not filled up with all the rubbish that I've seen, and this is what's made me think I want to sort of pass on these 5 things. So 5 things I've learned during lockdown. I think the first one, and probably the biggest, is about not taking things for granted, isn't it? We all got used to everything around us. Right now, I'm sort of stood opposite the world famous City Ground. A lot of the places where I socialise are sort of around Trent Bridge, the pubs and the river itself, and it's all been taken away from us, hasn't it? All the things we enjoy doing, the culture in the UK, the British culture, football, meeting in the pub, going for coffee, all these things have been taken away. So it's so important to remember going forward that we can't take these things for granted. We need to make the most of them. We need to do whatever we can to be positive when we're doing them. Keep talking to people, keep inviting people along, keep getting people involved. And it's so important. Don't put people off. Don't put anything off to another day, because unfortunately people have lost a lot of people have lost friends during COVID. People have lost family, and you'll never sort of experience some of those same things again. So going forward, it's something we definitely need to understand, isn't it? Of course, we're hoping to see the end of COVID, but it just shows that anything can happen. We've probably been quite lucky, we've lived between World War II and COVID, so we've not had many restrictions placed upon us. It's always been about sort of pushing forward, being a little bit selfish, not having too much to think about, but it just shows, don't take things for granted. The next important thing I've learned during COVID is to take our health very seriously, even if we're feeling okay, if we're feeling fine. Coming into COVID and the situation last March, I'd just come out of a lockdown. I was a little bit nervous, I was a little bit concerned that I would be considered vulnerable. As things have transpired, that's not the case, and I'm quite lucky in that sense. But there has been a lot of vulnerable people out there, But it's important to remember we can do so much to stay on top of our health, to be in the right position, in the right place for when, or if or when things like this might occur, just by sort of being healthy, those people who are generally fit and well generally come through it. Of course there's cases that where that isn't always the case, where it's not necessarily true, and lots of people have been affected in different ways. But what I feel is you need to give yourself the best chance possible, whether it's this, whether it's other things. I think what COVID's done is just act as a perfect reminder that we need to really focus on ourselves, take a bit of time. Again, let's not take things for granted. Let's try and prepare and plan. And of course, with the strain it's put on the NHS, with the concerns they've had about full hospitals and operations getting cancelled, we need to look after ourselves however we can in the best possible way, so we're helping the situation all round, whether it is COVID or whether it's people who need urgent care. We can do our own little bit in being active and healthy and staying on top of things. How to make the most of the small things is the next thing I've learned during COVID. So basically, on the back of what I said there about taking things for granted, not enjoying the things we've got, I've really started to understand how one positive action leads on to another. So just small things like getting up early, perhaps going for a walk, it helps you make the right decisions throughout the day. It makes you a lot more productive. It makes you feel better about yourself. You might get in more activity. You might become more healthier. So it's just taking the positive from absolutely anything and everything wherever you can. Whilst we are locked down, there's lots to be negative about. There's lots to be upset about. All those things we took for granted we can't do. But there's so much to be positive about. That little bit of extra time here and there, working from home and enjoying the benefits of that. Of course, some might see that as a hindrance, but there's lots of benefits to it as well. So it's about just taking positives from the small things. One thing I've done during COVID is took up walking, and it's led me on to a lot more things that I do. It gives me time to think. It gives me time to sort of work, dual purpose, use it for a dual purpose, and really take things forward that way. And it's just about sort of understanding that, appreciating that it's not just a temporary measure, it's something I want to take forward. All these small things that I've had to do because of the situation, have become things I really want to do, really enjoy, really make the most of. I spoke there about Friday mornings, one of my favourite times of the week, getting out and about, doing DOdaily itself. Whilst it might not be the most watched YouTube channel in the world, it's something I really enjoy, something I want to take forward. So I guess what I'm trying to say there is not look to some of those things that you have enjoyed as temporary measures. Make them permanent fixtures, make them things you're going to do going forward. Everything's going to change whether we like it or not. We have to accept that at some point, and we have to really sort of drive forward and be the best we possibly can, don't we? So by just appreciating that, accepting small wins build up to the big wins, not reaching out for the stars all the time, not trying to run before we can walk. It's important to realise that that's what makes us tick. That's what's going to get us there a lot quicker than we'd like to think. The fourth thing I've learned during COVID and the past 12 months is to stay away from negativity. Whilst it's tough out there, there's a lot of it, there's a lot going on. There's people who are experiencing many different feelings, many upsetting and disappointing situations. What we have to try and do is be as positive as we absolutely can. Throughout this pandemic, I've experienced loss. I've experienced financial impact. Some tough situations that arose between me and Kay, which meant we had to move. We had to was worried about work and things like that. But by being positive, by surrounding myself with people who want to sort of get involved with running, DOdaily, some of the activities on offer, by enjoying those myself, whilst organising them, I like to enjoy them as well. It's important to sort of share that feeling. You know, it's helping me build resilience, become stronger sort of mentally, realise that whenever anything happens, it's never going to be a good time. You know, if a bad thing happens, it's never a good time, isn't it? We can always find a reason. So it's important to sort of stay positive. When you surround yourself with negativity, you know, I've mentioned a lot already, the news, you know, and all the sad things that are going on there, you know, it just gets you down. It just puts you in a situation. Sometimes if that is around you, all you need to do is remove it from your life. You know, I touched on there about what I did at the weekend. Take it out of the equation. Do what you know makes you feel good. Do what you know makes you happy, and before you know it, you'll be sort of fighting fit and dealing with whatever's thrown at you. So like I say, remove negativity. The final thing I've learned during COVID, and perhaps a little bit controversially, is to understand who is with you and who isn't, you know, and particularly who is important to you. Of course, during the last 12 months, what we've had to do is restrict seeing certain people, friends, family. We've not been able to do the things we like to do in large groups. Again, as a culture, as a nation, we like parties, we like social environments, you know. But it's so important to remember who is actually important. Of course, many of us will choose to see family, you know, will choose to see certain friends, but it's also important to be aware that who is there for you. Do you know, we've all experienced a tough time. Do you know, I'd like to think I sort of put out and out wherever I can, do you know, but not everybody's willing, not everybody wants it, do you know, and whilst we'll keep encouraging, I'll keep encouraging, do you know, it's important to understand that not everybody's on side, not everybody's on the same page, and sometimes you just have to take a step back. Do you know, I touched on there with negativity. One thing I've tried to do, and it might come across harsh to some, but is remove negative people. Not completely, do you know, I don't want to sort of throw away lots of friends or lots of people around me, but it's so important to realise who is there. Do you know, doing something like DOdaily, it shows week in, week out the people who are really supportive and encouraging on what I do, you know, and this is something I've chose to do to stay on top of my own mental health, to help me take things forward. You know, lockdown hit, do running as a group, as the community interest company I was trying to run. So right now, well, from that point, I needed support with new ideas, you know, people to embrace it and take it forward. And the one thing I've learned, to be honest, like I say, is people who actually need you for their own benefit, you know, rather than want to be part of something, you know. And like I say, we're here for a multitude of different reasons, you know, and not everybody has to get involved in the same way, but it's important that to remember who was there during the tough times. There's been tough times, I touched on some personally, you know. There's been much tougher times for others as well, so just recall who were there, you know, who's worthy of your time, who makes you happy, who makes you positive. I think that's really important, because that's something I've probably learned more than anything during the last 12 months, you know, to really get me through. Really is important to understand who is important and who has a positive impact on your life. I read something a couple of weeks ago that we're actually an average of the 5 closest people to us. So the 5 people we spend most time with, we almost become an average. So if you spend your time with negative people, you're going to be negative, you're going to get down. If you spend it with positive people, you're going to be full of the joys. But also in terms of if you're driven, if you want to do well, do you know, if you're around people who are encouraging, supportive, who are driven too, it's all going to rub off. You're going to sort of rub off some of that sort of intention on each other, you know, and take it forward. And I think that's really sort of crucial to remember, you know, about who you surround yourself with in a time when we've had to fend for ourselves again, you know, look after yourself and really sort of push on in our own way. You know, it's important when we can meet up again to realise who is having a positive and who is having a negative impact. That was the 5 things I've learnt during lockdown. Hopefully you can use them for a little Monday motivation, to try and take things forward, be positive about what we're doing. Each one of those requires positivity, requires determination to get on top of the situation. Whilst there might be a bit of negativity in there, it's about turning that on its head and giving things a real go. And if we can do that, hopefully we'll come out of the situation a lot better for it, and like I say, much more positive about what we're doing. If you've liked the video today, guys, please give it a like, share, subscribe. I'm still trying to build the channel, still trying to get people involved. I'll be back tomorrow with Tuesday training, 6 o'clock. If you've got that kit on ready, we can get straight at it at 6:30. Please join us for the solidarity session. Until then, just doing it.